Okay, got a 2013 Dodge Dart here with the 2.0 liter engine. Got a oil switch check engine light that's come on here. I'm going to be replacing this oil sensor here today. And let me show you the part and we'll go ahead and check these codes out. Okay, and so this is the part. And these run around $45 to $50 in the parts store. So if you have time to order one and wait, then I can leave a link for one of these. Okay, so we're just plugged in to our OB2 connector. Alright, we got our key turned on. And it'll take a minute. I'm using the Autel MX808. So it'll just go through its scan. See, it's found 2. And it's not uncommon that you'll have 1 or 2 of these codes associated with this. Okay, so there is our codes. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this sensor replaced. Okay, so here are some tools that you're going to absolutely need. An 1 1/16". I've got a adapter because this is a 1/2" socket, so I've adapted up from 3/8. And Harbor Freight slim profile ratchet, and it also bends to other angles, so it works really well. Now you probably could use something else, but this is working the best. You need this to get the clip down there. Little trim tool. Got an 8mm and 7mm. Okay, first thing we're going to start with is we need to get this cover off. So we're just going to start over here on this side. We've got one connector, and then right down here we've got a 7mm, or you can use a flat right there. Okay, that should be loose enough. Okay, I've got an 8mm. Okay, next thing, we've got a 8mm. One of them's missing, and we got one right over here. You can see. We're just going to loosen that up from the top. This lid here. The screw should stay in there. Okay, then we're going to take this hose off. Okay, now this will just slide. See those clips, just slide it that way. This up here is loose. Okay, with that we can lift this up here. Just kind of snaps in. Just pull the whole thing out of there. Okay, now with that out of the way, we're going to go right over here on this side. Right in between the front of the engine, and I'm going to look right down here. You can see this wire is already clipped out, but that's where you would unclip it with the trim tool. And you've got a connector right here that's kind of in your way that we need to move. One of our solenoids for our engine head up here, and then as we come down below that, that is where our oil sensor. Now it has a lock. Use your finger or a screwdriver. You got to push that lock back to that side, and then you're going to squeeze just like that. And then since we've got this unclipped, This one, we can kind of move this out of our way where we can get down here and get access to this. So we can kind of move this out of the way enough. Okay, so I'm going to show you on this engine, because you can actually see you just got this clip right here going to this solenoid that you got to push down, free that up. And this wire right here, you'll go in with your trim tool, get that loose. Now here is your oil switch, here's your lock. So you either push with your finger or get you a screwdriver, and it depends on which way this is oriented. It may be oriented differently on yours depending on how this is turned. And then you push right here. Then we're going to take the 1 16" we'll go over that, and you slip that on first, and then you come on with your tool. And then from up here, you can see how with this ratchet I can bend this either way, and it's easier for me to take this sensor out. So now we're going to go over here. I'm going to try to show you removing it on the car here. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you here as best I can, just to show you that it can be done. You want to watch your hands down in here. Lots of things to cut your hands on. You see how I'm slipping? I'm going to slip this socket on. I'm going to move that wire wherever it needs to move to get out of my way. And then we'll go down here just like we did over there. And we'll get our ratchet in place. It's kind of hard to see which way to orient this. Okay, so now we're just going to loosen. And once you get it free, let's go ahead and take the ratchet out of the way, take the socket out of the way, and we can just spin it off there. By hand, you're not going to lose any oil. I mean, you might have a drop. Okay, so there's our old sensor. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the new sensor in place. Already has this paste on here to help it seal. Alright, I'm just going to get this started by hand. Okay, and it may take you just a minute to get it started good by hand. It has that thread paste on there, and it's got to be lined up just right. So I've got it threaded, a few threads by hand. I'm going to go ahead and slip the socket back on here, and I've got this wire, I believe, back in my way. All right, I'll slip it over on this side. All right, let's get the ratchet. All right, we're just going to snug it back up. Doesn't have to be terribly tight, just nice and snug, and we'll check it for leaks. All right, that feels like that ought to be tight enough. And the orientation of the wire may be different, but that's perfectly fine. It appears that it's in the same location. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lock the clip. Okay, so just show you what I'm doing over here, because you can't see anything from the car. Just locking this back, our solenoid wire back on, and if you want, clip this wire right back into there, and that's it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get our engine cover back in place here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and delete the code out, and we're going to have to run this thing through several key cycles and drive around to make sure this code is going to stay going. Okay, so I've took it up and down the road several times, run it through probably 10, 15 key cycles, and so far this pesky check engine light is staying off, so I will call that a fix. So I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.